Okay, so one of the things I thought I might talk about today was how to use a jazz standard, There Will Never Be Another You, which is a great little tune to learn, and ways to practice this and also integrate the B string when you're playing through a set of changes. I'll show some cool ways to do that. The thing about the 5 string is some of my students sometimes tend to kind of suffer from this at the beginning, is when we approach that low B, we only really use it for those 5 notes that we can't play on a standard tuning 4 string, right? So if we're trying to get the B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, or enharmonic equivalents, you know, C, D flat, D, E flat, etc. But there's more to it than that. All these other notes here are really useful to have. If you think about when you're playing in this position on a B string, right, you're really covering all the notes that will be playable on a 4 string, right? On the E, from there's your low E there on the fretted 5th fret on the B string, right? So if I'm playing a tune like There Will Never Be Another You, and I'll throw the chord changes up on the screen like somewhere around here, okay? So with that, if I want to work on really getting this part of the fingerboard together, I always joke about this as being like the kind of Bermuda Triangle area, you know, this area from like especially the 7th to like the 12th fret, right? So if I start off here, this is really going to get me to use that area if I make myself stay in that position. So if I was playing this standard, the first, let's look at like even just the first 8 bars. So we start off with 2 bars of E flat major 7, then there's a D minor 7 flat 5 to a G7. Often that G7 is a flat 9. That's a 2-5 going into the relative minor of C minor. It sits on C minor for 2 bars, so it's nice because you get a little chance to explore C minor. And then the next 2 bars, you've got a 2-5, B flat minor, E flat 7 going into A flat major. So just that alone, we could be playing something like this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Right? Or yeah. If you notice, when I play any of this kind of thing, I'm not really shifting much at all. I might move 1 fret up or down, but that's it, yeah? So lots of variations. I could play. Yeah? Now if you notice, all I did, like when I go to the B flat to E flat 7, that's the one bit where I moved up 1 fret, that was it. I could also shift down 1 position to here and start on this same E flat, but now my pinky or 4th finger is on it, right? And I go. All right, like that. Now, as I do this, you'll notice I'm not moving a lot at all. What I'm doing is seeing all the available chords in 1 position, or as near as close to 1 position as I can, with a half-step move up or down, right? So my E flat major 7, principally I'll be using, could be major scale, even E flat Lydian is quite cool for this, right? That's kind of a nice sound over that E flat major 7, if we have that. Then we have D minor 7, flat 5 to G7, or D minor 7, then our G7 flat 9, just the basic arpeggio of G7. Want to add the flat 9, we start thinking of diminished, but for the moment, let's just use G Mixolydian principally to be simple, right? So, just using those scales or modes, that's it, that's all I use, right? Now, when I went to that B flat minor, notice I moved up 1 fret, right? And that way I was seeing B flat minor, and then I did a half-step approach into the E flat, or you could just keep it scalar, root, 2nd, minor 3rd, perfect 5th, and down to E flat. Now, the thing is about all this is there's so little movement involved, so that's what I'm trying to get at. So what you could start is very slow, do this, right? You go 1, 2, 3, and... If you notice, so little movement going on there, right? Very simple line. I'm not really having to shift at all. I can make myself use more of the B string if I want. You know, I could be playing, for instance, on bar, let's look at the fourth line down, the F7 for 2 bars, right? So my F7, what I'm using here modally is a Lydian dominant scale. It's like the 4th mode, right, of melodic minor. It's kind of a cool choice for that, rather than just playing Mixolydian. So I'm putting a B natural in there. It sounds quite nice. I go. All right. Now if I do this, now I've moved down, shift up. See, very simple shift up, but you notice how much I'm using in each position. I'm not jumping too much, and this is something I find with quite a few of my students when they start off with me, even quite advanced ones. They're shifting around for no reason. If you're here and you have to move to here to play this B flat, or you've got a B flat here, wouldn't your line just sound smoother if you go, rather than having to go, you see what I mean? And now you're all the way down here, but wouldn't it be better to be playing that E flat here, perhaps, especially on a 5 string, you see? Different sound, too. That's another point. There's a lot to unpack on this. If you play in this part of the bass, the notes, you know, if you're higher up the fretboard on a lower pitch, thicker string, there's more of a kind of bloom to the note. And you think about the sound. If you're playing more of a Jacquees 16th, funk line, back pickup, I might play like this E flat here if I was playing over an E flat 7, right? For walking, I like this area of the bass, yeah? So I'll often use this part of the fingerboard as a preferred area to walk, you know? Especially on fast tempos where I want kind of an upright-like tone, and I want that real supportive cushion, like that sound, like moving air like that. So if I'm going, you know, even if I shift just once, I'm doing it for a reason. I want to get down to a lower note than in this position. If I'm on an F7 here, and then going F minor up to B flat. Now, when I come down to E flat, maybe I want to go to that low E flat. So if I go, yeah, or maybe I want to go to the low C there for really dramatic second half of the tune, all right? That could be nice too. So if I'm on F7, this would be like 4th line down. So I'm on bar 13, right? 2 bars of the F7. I go 1, 2, 2, 2. It's really nice, yeah? So sometimes it can be effective. We just do that little step into the new position. And there's a reason why we're moving, because on this from here, I'm moving down one stage to here, and then I know as I set up that 2-5, that's where I'm heading to for that low C. I wanted to force myself to use just really this part of the fingerboard for the last, like, let's say 8 or 12 bars. So I'm on my C minor, yeah, or, right, into that B flat minor. Yeah. So I'm making myself use specific areas of the bass. This is really fun to do. You know, you're benefiting from learning a new tune if you don't know this tune, or pick any tune you like. This is a nice one because one of the things I love about this is there's a nice amount of time to sink your teeth into the chords. Like the E flat major 7 is 2 bars, right? Then you have a nice relative, like a 2-5 into the relative minor, into C minor, and then you sit on the C minor for 2 bars. So you can really get inside that C minor 7 sound if you're soloing on it, right? You can play a lot of nice, you can play some nice stuff on it. There's a lot of nice stuff in this to kind of sink your teeth into. You've got time to kind of really get into the progression. And just try doing that. Try like setting yourself up, you know, going, okay, I'm going to start here and I'm going to stay in this position and see if I can walk in this area. And you can also just run the arpeggios. Try them everywhere. See, there's G7 starting in a different way. C minor 7 here, right? B flat minor, E flat 7. Yeah. Now for A flat major 7, you could play root, 3rd, 5th, major 7. Yeah. D flat 7 is here. It's also here. But we're trying to find and see these shapes in one position where we can. You see, then my F7 is here. Certain arpeggios or chord shapes, depending on the position you're in, you can see 2 different fingerings in one position. Here's F7, root, 3rd, 5th, 7, or root, 3rd, 5th, 7, depending on the register. So your F7 line, where you remember you have two bars on this, you could be playing 1, 2, 2, 2, or you could play a line here and go whatever you want. Notice where I was coming back to the E flat, let's say on the second half of the tune. So if I go F minor 7 here to B flat 7, I had to shift really fast, but I was already thinking of that position shift, and I go, right? Easy. So there you go. Hopefully you dug that.